The unexpected catalyst. The research station hung like a delicate spider's web against the infinite blackness of space, its luminescent panels casting a soft glow across the surrounding asteroid field. Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted her neural interface, her fingers dancing across holographic displays that shimmered with complex data streams. She had spent years studying the anomalous energy signatures that seemed to pulse from the heart of this remote sector, a mystery that had consumed her entire career. Outside the station's reinforced windows, the asteroids drifted in a silent ballet, each one a potential treasure trove of scientific discovery. Elena's team had been tracking an unusual quantum resonance that defied all known physical laws. Something was different about this region of space, something that didn't align with any existing scientific models. Dr. Rodriguez, came the voice of her assistant, Marcus Chen, the latest spectral analysis is, well, you're going to want to see this. Elena turned, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic data that materialized between them. The readings were unprecedented. Quantum fluctuations that seemed to bend the very fabric of spacetime, creating patterns that looked almost like, she blinked, like a form of communication. Run the calibration sequence again, she instructed, her voice steady despite the excitement building in her chest. And route the data through the quantum encryption filters. I want to be absolutely certain we're not detecting some kind of instrumental artifact. Marcus nodded, his fingers flying across the interface. The research station had been their home for the past 18 months, a cutting-edge facility designed to probe the mysteries of deep space. They were part of the Interstellar Exploration Consortium, a multinational organization dedicated to pushing the boundaries of human understanding. The station itself was a marvel of engineering. Constructed from adaptive nanomaterials that could self-repair and reconfigure based on environmental challenges, it represented humanity's most advanced technological achievement. Solar sails extended from its core, collecting energy from nearby stellar winds, while quantum communication arrays maintained a constant link with mission control back on Earth. But today, something was different. The quantum resonance began to shift, its pattern becoming more defined. Elena leaned closer, her breath catching in her throat. It wasn't random. It wasn't noise. It was structured. Intentional. Marcus, she whispered, are you seeing this? Before he could respond, a massive energy spike erupted across their monitoring systems. Alarms blared. Holographic warning indicators flashed crimson against the station's sleek interior. The very air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly frequency. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, everything went silent. Elena and Marcus exchanged a look of shared disbelief. They had just witnessed something that would rewrite everything humanity understood about the universe. Something was trying to communicate, and it was unlike anything they had ever encountered before. Little did they know, this moment would mark the beginning of humanity's most extraordinary journey. The quantum message was more than just a signal. It was an invitation. A challenge. A catalyst that would propel human civilization into a confrontation that would test the very limits of their species' potential. The first contact was imminent. And nothing would ever be the same again. The cosmic response. The quantum signal had transformed the research station into a crucible of scientific possibility. Dr. Elena Rodriguez knew they were standing at the precipice of humanity's greatest discovery. The holographic projection continued its mesmerizing dance, mathematical theorems and cosmic coordinates weaving together in a language both alien and tantalizingly familiar. Marcus broke the silence. We need to respond, he said, his voice tight with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. But how do you communicate with something we can't even comprehend? Elena's mind raced. Traditional communication methods would be useless. This wasn't about sending a radio signal or mathematical prime numbers. This was something fundamentally different, a communication that transcended human understanding. She approached the holographic projection, her hand hovering near the shimmering geometric shapes. The pattern seemed to pulse in response, as if acknowledging her presence. It was almost like the signal was alive, watching, waiting. Mission Control's demands grew more urgent. Encrypted channels buzzed with increasingly frantic messages. Political leaders, military strategists, and scientific advisors were all demanding immediate information. But Elena knew rushing would be catastrophic. This was a moment that required precision, patience, and an open mind. "We need to create a response that demonstrates our intelligence," Elena murmured, more to herself than to Marcus. "Something that shows we're capable of understanding complexity." Marcus pulled up the station's most advanced quantum computing systems. They began to construct a response, not with words, but with a complex mathematical sequence that represented human knowledge. Prime numbers intertwined with fundamental physical constants. Quantum entanglement principles merged with geometric representations of human scientific understanding. The asteroid field outside continued its synchronized dance. What had once seemed random now appeared to be an intricate choreography. Each tumbling rock moved with a purpose, creating patterns that hinted at a larger intelligence guiding their movement. Suddenly, the holographic projection shifted. The geometric shapes began to rearrange, forming what looked like a three-dimensional map. Star systems unknown to human star charts emerged, connected by delicate lines of light. It was a cosmic roadmap, or perhaps a challenge. "It's showing us something," Marcus breathed. "But what?" Elena studied the projection carefully. The map wasn't just a representation of space. It was a complex network of interconnected points, each node pulsing with a different intensity. Some burned bright, others were mere whispers of light. A warning flashed across their communication systems. Something was approaching the research station. The asteroid field began to shift more dramatically, creating a natural barrier that seemed to be positioning itself with deliberate precision. "We're being protected," Elena realized. Or contained. The quantum signal intensified. No longer a gentle pulse, it became a symphony of information. Mathematical equations danced alongside what appeared to be biological schematics. Star charts merged with complex molecular structures. It was as if the universe itself was trying to communicate the fundamental building blocks of existence. Marcus looked at Elena, his face a mixture of terror and exhilaration. "What are we dealing with?" he asked. Before she could respond, the station's primary systems began to change. Technological interfaces morphed, adapting to the incoming signal. It wasn't an invasion. It was a conversation, one that would redefine humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. The first true moment of interstellar communication was about to begin. And nothing would ever be the same again. The quantum breakthrough. The silence that followed the energy spike was deafening. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Marcus Chen remained frozen, their eyes locked on the monitoring systems that now displayed an impossible pattern of quantum signals. What had moments ago been random noise had transformed into something deliberate, almost intelligent. "Run a full diagnostic," Elena commanded, her voice cutting through the tension. Marcus nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The research station's advanced systems began a comprehensive analysis, probing the mysterious signal from every possible angle. Outside, the asteroid field seemed to have changed. The tumbling rocks no longer appeared random but arranged in a subtle, almost imperceptible pattern. Elena noticed first, a geometric precision that defied natural formation. Something was orchestrating their movement. The quantum signal began to pulse. Not erratically, but with a rhythm that suggested communication. Marcus leaned closer to the display, his scientific skepticism warring with a growing sense of wonder. "These patterns," he muttered, "they're not random. They're a language." Elena's mind raced. First contact scenarios had been theoretical discussions among scientists for decades. Humanity had sent out countless radio signals, searched for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence, but always met with silence. Now, unexpectedly, in this remote sector of space, something was reaching out. A sudden alert flashed across their primary communication channel. Mission Control was demanding an immediate report. Elena knew the implications of what they were experiencing would send shockwaves through human civilization. First contact wasn't just a possibility anymore, it was happening. "We need to verify," she said, more to herself than to Marcus. "Run the quantum decryption protocols. Compare the signal against every known communication matrix in our database." The station's quantum computers began working, processing billions of calculations per second. The mysterious signal continued its steady pulse, like a heartbeat from the cosmos. Marcus watched in fascination as complex algorithms attempted to decode the message. Hours passed. The asteroid field outside continued its synchronized dance, defying all known laws of celestial mechanics. Elena had barely moved, her eyes fixed on the slowly evolving data. Coffee grew cold. Nutrition packets went untouched. Then, without warning, the signal changed. A holographic projection materialized in the center of the research station's main laboratory. It wasn't a traditional image but a three-dimensional representation of something beyond human comprehension. Geometric shapes intertwined, pulsing with an inner light that seemed to breathe with intelligence. "Marcus," Elena whispered, "are you seeing this?" He nodded, speechless. The projection began to shift, forming patterns that hinted at complex mathematical theorems, astronomical coordinates, and something else, something that felt like an invitation. Mission Control's repeated messages went unanswered. Elena and Marcus were beyond communication protocols now. They were witnesses to the most significant moment in human history, the first genuine evidence that humanity was not alone in the universe. The quantum signal continued its intricate dance, waiting. Waiting for a response. Waiting for humanity to prove itself worthy of understanding. Whatever was trying to communicate had chosen this moment, this place, these two scientists as its point of contact. The question remained, why? And more importantly, what would happen next? The universe, it seemed, was about to reveal its greatest secret. The quantum catalyst. The research station trembled. Not from external force, but from the internal transformation triggered by the cosmic signal. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched in a mixture of terror and fascination as the station's technological systems began to evolve, adapting to the incoming quantum communication. Marcus clutched a nearby interface, his knuckles white. "This isn't possible," he muttered, watching as molecular structures within the station's walls seemed to reconfigure themselves. Metallic surfaces rippled like liquid, creating intricate patterns that resonated with the holographic projection. Outside, the asteroid field had become a perfect geometric formation. Each rock positioned with mathematical precision, creating a protective barrier around the research station. It was as if the very fabric of space was responding to the quantum signal, reshaping reality itself. Mission Control's communications had become a distant background noise. The encrypted channels were flooded with increasingly desperate messages, but Elena and Marcus were beyond traditional communication now. They were witnesses to something unprecedented. The holographic projection expanded, filling the entire station with a three-dimensional representation of complex scientific knowledge. It wasn't just a message, it was a complete transfer of information. Molecular structures, advanced mathematical theorems, and cosmic blueprints merged into a single, breathtaking display of intelligence. "It's teaching us," Elena realized. "Whatever this is, it's not just communicating. It's sharing knowledge." Fragments of information began to coalesce. The projection showed advanced technological concepts that seemed to bridge the gap between theoretical physics and what humans would consider magic. Quantum entanglement mechanisms that could manipulate spacetime. Energy transfer techniques that defied current scientific understanding. Marcus pointed to a particularly complex section of the projection. "Look at the quantum tunneling model," he said, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and scientific excitement. "This is generations beyond our current understanding." The station systems continued to adapt. Communication interfaces morphed, creating new ways of processing and understanding information. Elena realized they were experiencing more than first contact. This was a complete technological transformation. A sudden surge of energy swept through the station. Marcus stumbled, catching himself against a now fluid interface that seemed to support his weight. "Elena," he called out, "something's happening to us." She felt it too. A subtle change in her perception. The quantum signal was doing more than just communicating, it was fundamentally altering their understanding of reality. Scientific knowledge flooded her mind, complex theories and revolutionary concepts becoming as natural as breathing. The asteroid field outside began to move with increased intensity. The geometric formation was no longer static but dynamic, creating complex three-dimensional patterns that suggested an intelligence far beyond human comprehension. "We're being prepared," Elena whispered. "Prepared for what?" Before Marcus could respond, the quantum signal reached a crescendo. The entire research station seemed to vibrate with potential energy. The holographic projection consolidated, forming a single, intricate symbol that pulsed with an inner light. It was an invitation. A challenge. A test. Humanity's first true moment of cosmic interaction was about to begin. And nothing would ever be the same again. The cosmic threshold. The transformation accelerated. Dr. Elena Rodriguez felt her very perception of reality shifting, expanding beyond the limitations of human consciousness. The quantum signal had become more than just a communication, it was a complete recalibration of understanding. Marcus grabbed her arm, his touch feeling different. No longer just physical contact, but a conduit of information. "Elena," he said, his voice resonating with an almost musical quality, "we're changing." The research station had become a living entity. Walls breathed with energy, technological interfaces merged and separated like living organisms. Outside, the asteroid field continued its precise dance, now forming what looked like a massive, three-dimensional circuit board spanning the surrounding space. A new understanding began to crystallize. The quantum signal wasn't just sharing knowledge, it was testing humanity. Evaluating their potential. Challenging them to comprehend something far beyond their current evolutionary stage. Fragments of cosmic information flooded Elena's mind. She saw civilizations rising and falling across countless star systems. Technological revolutions that spanned millennia. Complex ecological networks that connected entire galaxies in ways humanity had never imagined. "We're not just receiving information," Elena realized out loud. "We're being evaluated." The holographic projection shifted, showing a series of complex scenarios. Each one a potential future, branching out like a massive decision tree. Some paths led to destruction, others to unimaginable advancement. Humanity stood at a critical junction. Mission Control's communication systems had long since gone silent. The quantum signal had transformed every technological interface into something unrecognizable. Traditional communication was obsolete. Marcus pointed to a particularly intricate section of the projection. "Look," he said, "it's showing us the consequences of our choices. Not just for Earth, but for the entire cosmic ecosystem." The scenarios were brutal in their honesty. Potential futures where humanity destroyed itself. Paths where they became a cancer spreading across the universe. But also potential futures of incredible possibility, scenarios where human creativity and adaptability became a catalyst for universal growth. The station's molecular structure continued to adapt. Elena felt her own consciousness expanding, breaking free from the constraints of traditional human perception. She was becoming something more, a bridge between human potential and cosmic intelligence. "We're being given a choice," she whispered. The quantum signal pulsed in response. It wasn't a simple yes or no. It was a complex mathematical representation of potential. Humanity's next step wasn't just about survival. It was about understanding their role in a vastly more complex universe. Suddenly, the asteroid field outside began to move with increased intensity. The geometric formations collapsed and reformed, creating a massive, living diagram that seemed to be a message in itself. A challenge. A test. Marcus looked at Elena, his eyes now reflecting something beyond human. "Are we ready?" he asked. The quantum signal reached a critical point. The research station vibrated with potential energy. Humanity stood on the precipice of its greatest transformation. The universe was waiting for an answer.